Look, something needs to change. We cannot keep doing this the way that we're doing it. And the only way that we get out of this mess is if you understand how important it is to use your voice. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to Disney's Hollywood Studios. We have so much to talk about today, and a lot of it is going to be centered around change. Not only change that's happening here at this park, because there has been some news come out that we have to talk about, but also change that I really do think needs to be made, especially after our recent stay at Animal Kingdom Lodge and hearing from you guys about your experience at that resort as well. We're going to talk all about it today, okay? And we're going to do it obviously here at Hollywood Studios. So let's make our way through security. I don't think that's going to be too bad, but the line to get in is likely going to be a nightmare. Hollywood Studios in the morning, never my favorite place to be. But we're here today because it's nice out, 78 degrees. Like, amazing, right? Perfect weather for wandering around. So let's get in there and have a good day. Now, I've talked about why I don't like rope drop here at Hollywood Studios before. It's mainly because of the way that they do it. They have everyone wait outside. So this tends to be a line that's backed up pretty far. It takes a while to get into the park. I don't like to wait in that line, so I just hang out under the flagpole where we were hanging out today. And then a couple minutes later, this is what we're working with. Of course, by a couple minutes, I mean about 30 minutes. It's currently 29 past 9 right now. But anyway, we're in now. First order of business, we are headed this direction. No, not to Starbucks, but around the Starbucks, because it's back here at the end of Sunset, not far from one of my favorite attractions, Rock and Roller Coaster, where we're gonna find the attraction that is going to be changing very soon, or at least it's gonna be closing very soon, Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy. There we have it, Rock and Roller Coaster. And you might not know this if you don't have little ones or you're not a fan of cars, but tucked back here, behind the entrance actually to the queue of Rock and Roller Coaster, there's another attraction. So right here, this is the queue for Rock and Roller Coaster, and if we turn around, Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy. Now, this is a really cute little area. Of course, we have the attraction back here, but look at all the photo ops with all the cars. Let's go check them out. Of course, we gotta say hi to our girl, Cruz Ramirez over here. How cool is this? And look at that. Got the piston cup there with her. Now, if you don't know what Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy is, let me fill you in. So this is a show. It's indoors, so you have some air conditioning you can soak up, which is great. During the show, which is roughly about 15 minutes long, you're hanging out with Lightning McQueen while he's training. He's on a simulator and he's working with Cruz Ramirez and the rest of his team, and he's telling you how all of that works. It's really cool, especially if you have little ones in your party, but they do have some fun jokes in there for adults, which I really enjoyed. I also really appreciate the location of this attraction because it's between two of the parks and probably Walt Disney World's most intense attractions, Tower of Terror and Rock and Roller Coaster. So if you have someone who doesn't enjoy either of those attractions or can't enjoy either of those attractions, you have a place to go, something to do, and some air conditioning. But sadly, this attraction is going to be replaced. Now, fortunately, the attraction that's going to be replacing Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy is going to be another show type attraction, presumably indoors. I'd imagine that they're just going to put it right in the existing building, which is great because it still provides that option for guests who can't ride the other more intense attractions or don't want to. So I'm really happy to hear that. It's also going to be themed to villains, which is pretty exciting, but also a little bit confusing to me, especially since we have a whole Villains Land coming to Magic Kingdom. So, I mean, I don't know what the thought process is there. We can talk more about that some other time because I haven't fully wrapped my head around how I feel. But the important thing to note is that Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy will close October 7th. So if you want to enjoy this, maybe you have kids who really like this, you're going to be here, want to soak up some AC, maybe pop on over before then. Now, this announcement was made after D23, and to my knowledge, unless I just wasn't privy to the information, it wasn't a piece of information that was released during D23, which is very interesting to me. See, I have this sneaking suspicion that Disney is changing the way that they're announcing updates to the parks, holding back some until absolutely necessary so that people have less time to talk and gripe about it. I know I'm kind of getting into the weeds here, and maybe this is like a tinfoil hat moment, but I think that that's one of the reasons that Disney did D23 this year the way that they did. I think they wanted to hold back as much info as possible, not only from the outside world, but even for people who were attending the event, because they did keep really important details out just so that they could have less booze, so that people wouldn't be negative in the moment. They'd be super excited, and then they would be able to gripe later. I think that's why we didn't find out about, for example, closing Tom Sawyer Island and the Rivers of America until after the fact. And don't get me wrong, like, Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy isn't a very popular attraction, so I don't think anyone's going to be eaten up over the fact that it's going away. But if you look at the way that they did this, announcing that it was going to close just about a month before it closes, I think that this is what we're likely to see moving forward, like telling you when it's absolutely necessary to tell you, and then announcing what they're going to do then, as opposed to having a huge lead up between when they announce the thing and when the work even starts, you know? So that's my theory. I'll be really interested to see if that happens more moving forward. Speaking of other changes and D23, we're standing in Animation Courtyard right now, and this is another area that's been coming up in a lot of conversations about D23, because we got an announcement about Monstropolis, like a whole Monsters Inc. area coming to this park, and people think it's going to be here, but I don't agree. And there's a few reasons that I feel that way. So first and foremost, the Little Mermaid stage show, this is supposedly coming back to a newly reimagined Animation Courtyard. So, I mean, plans are already in the works for that. Supposedly, of course, plans can change. Also, I feel like if they took away the little kids stuff here, like the Disney Junior dance party, that doesn't leave a ton of stuff at this park for little ones, and I don't really think that that would be the best move. Then again, Disney's made a lot of moves like that, so who knows? But there's another reason. There's another reason that I think that this isn't going to be the location of Monstropolis or any Monsters Inc. stuff, and that's the concept art. There's a pretty distinct landmark in the concept art that we're gonna go check out here in a minute, but first I wanna see if I can find a supposed special cookie located at the Joffrey stand over here. I heard about it on social media, which means it's probably not real, but we can check. Now let me just clarify for a second. When I say that these things aren't real, I don't mean that like people are faking them, you know? I just mean that more often than not, you see something on social media, when you get here, try to get your hands on it, it doesn't exist anymore. I should have been a little bit clearer there, but today wasn't that day. We got it. It's called the Play-Doh cookie. Check this thing out. Isn't it cute? Kind of does look like Play-Doh. Can I tell you a Play-Doh story? Actually, can I tell you a yellow Play-Doh story? So when I was a kid, I loved Play-Doh, and I apparently took a clump of yellow Play-Doh and put it in my mom's coffee when she wasn't looking, and then she drank it, and I never had Play-Doh again. Anyway, I hope that this doesn't taste like Play-Doh. It doesn't smell like Play-Doh. Let's give it a shot. That's a good cookie. This thing was like $6, and it's pretty big. Worth it. It's a good sugar cookie. It's really cute, and it does have like some ooey gooey bits to it. I'd get it again. All right, couple bites of cookie in our belly. Rest of the cookies in our fanny pack, so we can bring it home to Russ. And now we're making our way over to Grand Avenue because I want to show you that landmark that I've been referencing, and why I think that this side of the park is where we're going to get Monstropolis, as opposed to back there with the Animation Courtyard. Before we get over there though, I wanted to talk to you about something. Remember how I said that there was a change that I think you need to make? Like, we need to make a change moving forward, not just you, both of us. All of us together need to make some changes. Sit down for a second and talk about that. Now, as some of you probably already know, we recently stayed over at Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge in Jumbo House, and we got a Disney Vacation Club Deluxe Studio. And you know, just to cut to the chase, it left quite a bit to be desired, at least as far as the room was concerned. Of course, if you want to hear both our initial impressions as well as our review, you can go check that out. We did talk about that in the past few videos here on the channel. But anyway, one of the things that we found really unique about this stay of ours is that after sharing our experience with you, we had so many of you share that you had a very similar experience to ours, not only with rooms that were run down, but also not well kept, which was one of our major criticisms of the room. I mean, it was dirty. Really no way around that. And every other time that we do a stay like this, you guys always say, well, that wasn't my experience was fantastic, so on and so forth. But so many of you this time commented about how it wasn't clean, how it was run down, that it got me thinking, especially one of you in particular, who said that you went to the front desk to communicate these problems to them and they weren't very receptive, which stood out to me because on our way out, we did stop by the front desk and talk to them, told them that, you know, the room wasn't clean. We want to bring this to your attention. And they did not seem like they cared one little bit. And this isn't the first time that this has happened to us. We've had the same exact type of experience at multiple stays throughout different categories of resorts, DVC and non-DVC. And that's got us thinking about why this might be happening. And I have a theory, and I'm gonna just keep this short and to the point. I think that people have been bullied into not complaining or expressing their concern about things like this because they're told that they ought to be grateful, no matter what the conditions are. I've heard this so many times, I'm sure you've heard it too, and I think that this is actually contributing to a worse overall experience for all of us. And look, I get it. No one likes confrontation. No one likes to make waves. No one wants to complain. We just want to go on vacation, have a good time, and be done with it. But I can't help but wonder, like, when is enough enough? How dirty do rooms need to be consistently before we stop making excuses? How much do we need to be paying for those rooms? It's a question that we've been asking ourselves a lot, especially recently, because since we started these stays, we've pretty much just gone with the flow, took what we got, made no room requests, and just saw what the experience would be like so that we could share that with you. Yeah. We're paying for these rooms ourselves, not only through our Disney Vacation Club membership and dues and all of that, but also when we stay at places that aren't DVC. We're paying cash. So our expectations are that of any other guest. We want what we're paying for to be worth what we paid, because we really have paid. But also, and I know that this isn't something we've talked about very much here on the channel, just because, I don't know, we haven't, but we've not always been in a position to be able to afford things like this. We've had many years where we were just scraping by, and I really do mean that. And sometimes it took us quite a while to save up to be able to do things just like you. And honestly, it still does, though we're definitely in a better financial position now than we used to be in the past. But I bring this up because I want to be clear that, like, I get it. For all those people who are going to say, and they have said this to me in the past, well, you should be grateful to be able to do that at all. Oh, I know, and I am, because I've seen the other side of this. But I also know that on the other side of this, people who don't have the money, who save up for years and years and years, they deserve to get what they're paying for too, which is why I think that voices like mine, voices like yours are really important. And I think it's time that we start using them. I also feel pretty strongly that if you don't speak up about things like this, the only thing you're doing is giving companies like Disney permission to continue doing what they're doing, to continue cutting back, to continue giving you less when you pay more. And I mean, that's ridiculous, right? Anyway, we'll talk a little bit more about how you can share your opinions in a bit, but first, we've arrived at what I wanted to show you. So here we are in the area just outside Muppets. So there's Hydraulics. That's the new little quick service that has the Coca-Cola themed snacks. The Boo Crew just got some cinnamon rolls from there the other day. They said that they weren't great. So, you know, take that or leave it. I haven't tried them yet. I don't know. If you've tried them, let me know. Of course, here's the Muppets area. This is Grand Avenue, Muppets Courtyard, whatever you want to call it. And then right here behind this tree is a water tower. I want you to remember that water tower, because in the concept art that was released for the Monsters, Inc. land that's coming here, we see that water tower. Now, I'm trying to remember exactly where it was, so I'm gonna pull off for a second and look it up. But I think that this general vicinity is where we're going to be getting that Monsters, Inc. area, and not over at Animation Courtyard. So let's take a look together. This is from Disney Parks blog, which is the official blog of Disney. So you see, here's the concept art, okay? And if we zoom in, right there, see that right there? That's a water tower. And this is the area, or at least the concept art for this new area. By the way, what's that all about? But the water tower has me thinking that this is going to be somewhere over here. And if I had to guess, which again, not reading too much into this, I don't really invest too much into D23 like we've talked about before, but sometimes it's fun to talk about. If you were to ask me, I think that they're gonna do away with Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular, which is sad, but I honestly think it's been a long time coming. So I think that Muppets are safe. I think that Muppets are going to be safe, but Indy, especially since he's moving over to Animal Kingdom with the new attraction over there and possibly Backlot Express, I think that those are going to be put out to pasture. Again, just my guess. Share yours in a comment. Now, to me, it almost feels like they're trying to reorganize the parks, which I realize doesn't really make sense because of the things that they're doing, like putting the villains here in Hollywood Studios. And then, you know, the Monsters, Inc. area is kind of Pixar, but not near the Pixar part of the park. So I don't know. I don't really know what my feelings truly are on that, I guess. But it almost feels like they're making that attempt. Or maybe they're starting to head that direction, you know, like tiny little baby steps toward that. We're just gonna have to wait and see. I will say, it is very interesting though how they're rolling out some of these updates, holding back the details that they're holding back. So I know that this might be a little bit of a hot take, but I think that that's a good way to do it. I don't think that they should tell us things as quickly or as soon as they do. Plus, it makes it feel like it takes longer to complete, which is never a good look for Disney. Certainly doesn't contribute to their track record of not doing things quick, you know? Optics hasn't really been Disney's strong suit recently, though. Talked about this with DAS, and there's so many other things that Disney has done, especially recently. Their Aspire program they just pulled back on. Timing was impeccable on that as well, but that's a conversation for another day. But all right, the information that I know you want to know, because I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Kat, you want me to share information with management, you want me to talk to them. How do I do that? There are a few different ways you can. One way is to contact them while you're on vacation. Usually they'll send you a link via email. You can reach out to the manager of the hotel during your stay. You can also use that link after your stay as well. That's going to be different for every hotel. So I can't really provide you that link, but check your email, especially if you're running into issues while you're on vacation, or if it's bad enough, which honestly we should have done at Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge. I'm being real with you. Go down to the front desk and let them know about the problem as soon as you notice the problem. Don't wait. But there's another one that I want to tell you about. It's so hot out here though, so let me get in the Jeep, turn the AC on, and I'll fill you in because this is especially important for DVC members. All right, in the Jeep now, AC is pumping, so forgive me if it's a little bit loud. You know, Harley's saying it's only 79 degrees outside. That cannot be true. Then again, it is really humid, so that's probably contributing to why it feels just unbearable out there. But look, there's one more thing that I wanted to share with you, and that is especially for those DVC members out there who feel like you don't know how to communicate any of these problems with DVC, especially recently. I feel like every time I've had an issue and I call DVC, which is something I've done many times before, they say, well, we can't help you, you have to contact the hotel. Then I contact the hotel and they say, we can't help you, you have to contact DVC. And you're just getting the runaround, right? If you've ever felt that way, and you, like me, have a member guide or whatever they're called who does absolutely nothing for you, which is a story for another day. There is a way that you can share your thoughts and problems, quite frankly, with Disney Vacation Club through the Disney Vacation Club website. You have to be a member, you have to have a login. I will put that link in the description down below because there's no way that I can tell you how to get to it. Quite frankly, I don't even remember how to get to it. Russ is the one who guides me through the process every single time I need to find it. There's just so many things going through my brain, you know, and he's got a knack for these things. I recommend sharing your thoughts there. At the Disney Vacation Club meeting that happened in December, which by the way, there's going to be many more in the future because of some laws or whatever that changed. So keep an eye out or an ear out for that. They said that if you had any problems, DVC, just for clarity's sake, said that if you have any problems, contact them through this link. Let them know what your problems are through this link. Share your thoughts on your membership through this link. So let's start doing that. You know what I mean? Let's start doing that more often than we have, because it must not be happening enough. It must not be, because no changes are being made. But anyway, I think that's about all for now. I hope that this was an interesting little adventure here at Hollywood Studios. I would love to know what your thoughts are on these changes and what you think about my theory when it comes to the location of this new Monsters, Inc. area. Share that with me in a comment down below and let's get this conversation going. Also, I'd love to know your thoughts on what it's been like trying to correct issues when staying at Walt Disney World, whether it's issues with the hotels, issues in the theme parks. What has your experience been, and do you feel heard and valued when you communicate to the people that you've often been told to communicate to, whether it's guest services, the front desk of whatever hotel you're staying at, DVC themselves. Tell me about it in a comment down below, because I'd love to understand this better. I'd love to get a better grasp of how others feel about this, because I know how I feel, I know how the Boo Crew feels, but I want to know how you feel. But all right, I think that's about all for today. Thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Until then, bye.